All right, so we're diving deep into the world of dietetic technicians today,
Mhm.
prepping for that interview. And you want to impress.
Absolutely.
We've got a stack of RoleCatcher resources here with us,
Yeah.
career guides, sample interview questions, and even some insights into their AI tools.
Right?
So let's get ready to shine.
It's exciting stuff because you're not just learning about the job itself, you're also learning how to really showcase your skills and land it.
For sure.
And RoleCatcher provides such a great roadmap for all of that.
Totally. And I think first we need a quick level set for everyone listening.
Sure.
What does a dietetic technician actually do?
Uh-huh.
It's got to be more than just assisting dietitians, right?
Oh, absolutely. Think of it as being like this really crucial link between what the dietitian recommends and the patient's actual experience.
Okay.
You're taking those complex nutrition plans and you're turning them into practical meals.
Uh-huh.
You're educating patients. You're even getting involved in discharge planning, especially when it comes to things like enteral feeding.
And I think we should probably just quickly mention what enteral feeding is.
Yeah, that's providing nutrition through a feeding tube.
Okay.
So it's pretty hands-on stuff.
So you're really hands-on with the patients, making sure that these dietary plans are actually making a difference in their lives.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think a key thing to remember is that you're playing this really key role in this big healthcare trend,
Okay.
preventative care.
Yes.
By helping people understand and manage their nutrition, you're contributing to their long-term health.
I like that.
So that's a big one. And then, of course, we've got to dive into these interview questions.
Now let's get into it.
So the first one from RoleCatcher is a classic. It's, can you explain the role of a dietetic technician?
Okay, so this seems like a really simple question,
Yeah,
but I bet there's a smart way to go beyond just a very basic definition.
absolutely. You want to think, impact, how is this role actually improving patient well-being?
Okay.
And so instead of just listing a bunch of tasks, paint a picture. Imagine saying something like, I help patients navigate the often confusing world of nutrition and make sure that they have the tools to make healthy choices.
So you're connecting all those tasks to the bigger picture of patient care.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
they might follow up with, something like, what aspect of this role are you most passionate about?
Okay.
This is where you can really highlight those hands-on aspects. Maybe talk about, your love for creating meal plans or educating patients on very specific dietary needs.
Makes sense. Showing that you're not just looking for a job, but you really want to make a difference.
Right.
All right. So the next question,
Okay.
how do you stay up to date with the latest developments in the field of dietetics?
This one's all about showcasing that you're proactive, that you're constantly learning.
Okay.
So mention professional journals, conferences, even online communities where, dietetic professionals are all sharing insights.
And I bet if you drop like a very specific recent development or trend from the RoleCatcher guide, that would really impress them.
Yes, 100%.
It's like saying, hey, I'm not just talking the talk. I actually know what's happening in the field right now.
100%. And for example, you could mention the growing focus on using genetic testing to personalize nutrition plans.
Oh, wow.
It shows you're aware of how this field is evolving.
Okay.
Now be prepared for a follow-up question on this one.
Okay.
Something like, how would you apply this new knowledge in your work as a dietetic technician?
So have an example ready of how you're going to translate all this knowledge into practical action.
Exactly.
All right. This next one is a little trickier.
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe a time when you had to work with a difficult patient or client?
So don't worry, this is such a classic behavioral question.
Yeah.
And RoleCatcher actually suggests using the STAR method to answer it.
What's the STAR method?
Situation, task, action, result.
Okay.
It helps you tell this really concise and impactful story.
All right. So you set the scene, you describe your role,
Yeah.
you explain what you did,
Yes.
and then highlight a positive outcome. But how do you talk about a difficult patient without sounding negative?
Yeah. That's a good question. Focus on the challenge itself, not on the person.
Okay.
So maybe it was a patient who was really resistant to changing their diet, even though it was crucial for their health. You can talk about how you use empathy and your communication skills to understand their perspective.
Okay.
And then you worked with them to find solutions that address their concerns while still meeting their dietary needs.
That's a really great approach.
Yeah.
It shows you can handle tough situations professionally.
Right.
And I imagine a potential follow-up would be like, what did you learn from that experience?
100%. You want to reflect on what you gained from navigating that challenge, maybe about patient communication, or the importance of tailoring your approach to each individual's needs.
Okay, so the next question. How do you prioritize and manage your workload?
This is such an essential one for this role.
Yeah, because you're juggling patients' meal plans, maybe even administrative tasks.
Absolutely. And, your answer here has to go beyond just saying, I'm organized.
Okay.
Think about the specific strategies you actually use, color-coded calendars, to-do lists, project management apps.
Okay.
Give really concrete examples from your past experiences where you successfully manage multiple priorities.
So you're really painting a picture here of your organizational prowess.
Exactly. And a possible follow-up could be, how would you handle a situation where unexpected tasks come up and kind of disrupt your planned schedule?
Mm-hmm.
You want to show them that you're adaptable.
Right.
You can prioritize effectively even when things get hectic.
Makes sense.
Ah.
Okay, so next we have, how do you ensure patient confidentiality and privacy?
This one seems pretty straightforward.
Yeah, but I bet there's more to it than just saying, I keep things confidential.
Right. You need to demonstrate a deep understanding of all those rules and regulations like IIP,
Okay.
if you're in the U.S.
Yeah.
Mention specific practices like, using secure electronic health records, locking file cabinets, being mindful of conversations in public areas.
Only discussing patient information with authorized personnel.
So you're showing that you really take these protocols seriously.
Yes.
You're applying them in your work.
Absolutely. And they might follow up with something like, what would you do if you overheard a colleague discussing patient information inappropriately?
Okay.
This allows you to show how you'd address a situation, ethically and professionally, maybe, by reminding the colleague of how important confidentiality is.
All right, on to question 6. How do you approach patient education? I feel like nutrition can be a complex topic.
You can.
So how do you explain it in a way that's clear, engaging, and really tailored to each individual?
This is where you want to shine a light on all those great communication skills that you have.
Uh-huh.
You could say something like, I believe in meeting patients where they are understanding their knowledge level and learning style.
So you're personalizing the approach using visual aids demonstrations, whatever works best for that particular patient.
Right. And highlight the importance of active listening.
By asking open-ended questions, you can check for understanding and address any concerns that they might have.
That makes sense.
Now, a potential follow-up on this one could be, how would you explain a complicated dietary concept like the glycemic index to a patient with limited health literacy?
It's all about breaking down those complex topics into those bite-sized pieces.
Exactly.
Okay, so question number 7. How do you handle conflicts or disagreements with colleagues or other healthcare professionals?
So it feels like conflict resolution is a recurring theme in these healthcare interviews.
Yeah, for sure.
And for good reason, you want to show that you can navigate those inevitable, interpersonal challenges that happen in any workplace.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, stay calm, respectful focus on finding a resolution that benefits everyone.
So no storming off in a huff.
Exactly.
No sending passive-aggressive emails.
Right.
So instead, we're going to use the STAR method again
Yes.
to share a specific example of a conflict,
Uh-huh.
the steps you took to address it, and then the positive outcome you achieved.
Exactly. And a potential follow-up could be, how do you ensure effective communication when there are disagreements within a healthcare team?
So show them that you can be a team player,
Yes.
even when things get a little heated.
Exactly.
Okay, next question. Can you explain a time when you went above and beyond for a patient?
This is a good one.
I love this question. It's a chance to show those small acts of kindness that make a big difference.
Absolutely. It's about demonstrating that you are truly passionate about patient care. You could talk a time when you took extra time to explain a confusing concept,
Okay.
Provided emotional support to a patient who was struggling, or went out of your way to accommodate a special request.
Those small gestures really show that you genuinely care.
Yeah.
And a potential follow-up could be, what motivates you to go the extra mile for your patients?
Love it. This gives you an opportunity to really share what drives your passion for this work. Maybe your belief in the power of nutrition to improve lives.
Okay. Question number 9. How do you incorporate cultural diversity and sensitivity into your work with patients?
So this goes beyond just being politically correct.
Yeah.
It's about providing truly inclusive and culturally competent care.
Mm-hmm.
You want to show that you really understand and respect cultural differences and how they might, influence a patient's dietary needs and preferences.
For sure.
You could mention some specific strategies, like researching different cultural food traditions or using translated materials to communicate effectively.
Meeting patients where they are respecting their beliefs, tailoring your approach.
Exactly. And a potential follow-up could be, can you share an example of how you adapted your approach to meet the specific cultural needs of a patient?
So be ready to share a very specific anecdote.
100%.
that highlights your cultural sensitivity.
Exactly.
Okay. And for the final question in this set,
Yes.
we're shifting our focus to how do you approach quality improvement and assurance in your work?
So it's not just about doing the job, it's about constantly looking for ways to do it better.
For sure.
They want to know that you're proactive and committed to providing the best possible care.
Mm-hmm.
Think about specific examples from your past where you identified areas for improvement.
Okay.
Maybe streamlined a process, implemented a new tool, developed a new educational resource.
I imagine that the RoleCatcher Career Guide probably has some good inspiration there
Oh, definitely.
for quality improvement initiatives
100%.
specific to dietetic practice.
You could talk about ways to improve patient satisfaction with meal plans,
Mm.
enhance communication between, dietetic technicians and other healthcare providers.
Uh-huh.
Make sure that all patients have access to culturally appropriate nutritional counseling.
These are great examples.
Yeah.
And a potential follow-up might be, what steps would you take to implement a quality improvement project in your role?
Yes.
So this allows you to showcase your problem-solving and leadership skills.
Exactly. Be prepared to outline a clear plan, from identifying the need for improvement all the way to measuring the outcomes.
Okay, so before we wrap up our discussion of these interview questions, let's take a moment to explore how RoleCatcher's AI can give you an extra edge in your prep.
Love it.
Okay, so how can AI actually help us nail these interviews?
So imagine this. You're working on your resume and cover letter,
Okay.
and RoleCatcher's AI analyzes them and compares them to the specific requirements of the job.
Wow.
It can identify any skills gaps, maybe where you haven't highlighted your experience as effectively, and it can suggest improvements.
Wow. So it's like having a personal career coach,
Absolutely.
tailoring your resume to each specific job.
It really is.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And does their AI also help with the interview questions?
100%. They have this incredible feature where you can practice answering interview questions on video. And then the AI analyzes your responses and provides you with feedback on things like your clarity, how concise you are, even your body language.
It's like having a virtual mock interview with an expert.
Exactly.
That's amazing. So no more sweaty palms.
Right.
No more nervous jitters.
Exactly.
Before the big day.
Yeah.
But beyond AI, what's the most important thing to remember as we prepare for these interviews?
I think it's so crucial to connect your passion for healthy living to the specific needs of the facility that you're interviewing with.
Okay.
Do your research, understand their patient population, their mission, their values.
So you're not just aiming for a job.
Right.
You're aiming to make a positive impact.
100%. And that passion and dedication will shine through in your answers.
For sure.
It'll make you stand out.
Okay, this has been incredibly helpful.
Good.
I feel like we've uncovered some really valuable insights into being a dietetic technician.
Yeah.
And how to ace those questions. Now, before we move on, I think it's worth taking a deeper dive into the career path itself.
Absolutely.
What are some of the potential growth opportunities for dietetic technicians?
Okay, great question. Let's explore that further. The RoleCatcher Career Guide highlights some really fascinating possibilities.
Okay.
For example, did you know that as you gain experience, you could specialize in areas like diabetes, education, renal nutrition, or even pediatric care?
So you're not stuck in one lane.
No.
You can kind of branch out and find your niche
Absolutely.
in this field.
Yeah. And the guide also mentions, these specific certifications like becoming a registered dietetic technician, which can open doors to more specialized roles and, of course, higher earning potential.
Mental note, research those certifications.
Yes.
But beyond the technical skills and the certifications, what are some of those softer skills that are really crucial
Yes.
for being a successful dietetic technician?
Communication skills are paramount. You are constantly interacting with patients, families, dietitians, other healthcare professionals. So being able to explain complex nutritional concepts in a clear way, tailoring your approach to different learning styles, building rapport with patients is essential.
It's not just about the science. It's about the human connection as well.
100%. And I think empathy plays a huge role, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially when you're working with patients who might be struggling with their health or, making dietary changes. Being able to understand and respond to their emotional needs, offer support, motivate them on their journey.
It's about being a compassionate caregiver as much as it is being a nutrition expert.
Yes.
And speaking of expertise, one thing that stood out to me in the RoleCatcher Guide was that they emphasize clinical auditing.
Yes.
So could you shed some light on what that entails
Okay.
and why it's important?
So clinical auditing is all about ensuring that patients are receiving the best possible nutritional care.
Okay.
It involves, screening patients for nutritional risks, assessing how effective those dietary interventions are.
And then identifying any areas for improvement.
So it's like a quality control check
Yeah.
to make sure that everything's running smoothly
Exactly.
and patients are getting the support they need.
Absolutely. And as a dietetic technician, you might be involved in collecting data, tracking patient progress, or even implementing changes
Okay.
based on the audit findings.
That sounds like a really important role contributing to that overall quality of care
It is.
in a facility.
Yes.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
I want to circle back to something that you mentioned earlier, which is preventative care.
Uh-huh.
How does the role of a dietetic technician fit into this growing trend in healthcare?
It's such a perfect fit. Preventative care is all about, empowering people to take charge of their health and well-being before those chronic conditions even develop.
Yeah,
And nutrition plays a crucial role in all of this.
for sure.
By educating patients on healthy eating habits, helping them manage their weight, providing individualized guidance.
Dietetic technicians are right on the front lines of preventing chronic diseases,
Okay.
like heart disease, diabetes, certain types of cancer.
That's incredible. So you're not just helping people manage existing health issues, you're actually helping them stay healthy
Absolutely.
for years to come.
100%. And this is something that you can really highlight in your interviews
Okay.
to show that you understand that bigger picture of healthcare and,
Right.
and where this role fits in.
It shows that you're not just looking for a job. You're looking to make a real difference.
Exactly.
And speaking of making a difference, I'm curious to hear your final thoughts on what makes a candidate really stand out in this competitive field.
I think it comes down to this genuine passion for nutrition
Mm-hmm.
and a desire to make a positive impact on people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
When you combine that passion with, a solid understanding of the role, strong communication skills,
Yeah.
and a commitment to continuously learning, you become an irresistible candidate.
That is such inspiring advice. It's not just about, ticking the boxes on a job description.
Right.
It's about bringing all that enthusiasm and empathy to the table.
Absolutely.
And I have to say, after this deep dive, I'm feeling incredibly motivated and excited about the possibilities in this field.
Me too. It's such a rewarding career path
Yeah.
with so much potential for growth and impact.
This has been an incredibly insightful conversation.
Good.
Thank you so much for sharing your expertise
Ours.
and helping us navigate the world of dietetic technicians.
It was my pleasure. And those AI-powered tools that we talked about are so helpful.
Yeah.
Imagine using RoleCatcher's AI to not only, like we said, refine your resume, but to also brainstorm quality improvement initiatives
Oh, wow.
based on the latest trends. It's like having this whole team of experts at your disposal,
Yeah.
helping you come up with these really specific, relevant examples
Yeah.
to show that you're forward thinking.
Takes out all the guesswork
Exactly.
of trying to figure out what these interviewers want to hear.
Yeah.
And speaking of figuring things out, let's shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and dive a bit deeper into the career path itself.
Okay.
The RoleCatcher Guide mentions different stages for dietetic technicians. So what does that progression actually look like?
It's actually pretty dynamic. You might start as, an entry-level technician,
Okay.
focusing on those really basic tasks, learning the ropes. But as you gain experience, you can specialize in areas like diabetes education or pediatric care,
Oh, wow.
taking on more responsibility and leadership roles as you move up.
So you're not just stuck in one lane.
Yeah, not
There's actually room to branch out
Yeah.
and find your niche within the field.
100%.
I like that. And the guide also mentions specific certifications,
Yes.
like becoming a registered dietetic technician.
Wow.
So that can open even more doors.
Yes. More specialized roles and usually, a higher earning potential.
Okay. Mental note, research those certifications.
Yeah, for sure.
But beyond the technical skills
Mm.
and the certifications,
Yeah.
what are some of the softer skills that are really crucial
Yes.
for success as a dietetic technician?
Communication skills are paramount. You are constantly interacting with patients' families, dietitians, other healthcare professionals. So being able to explain, these sometimes really complex nutritional concepts in a very clear and concise way.
Yeah.
being able to tailor your approach to different learning styles,
Okay.
building rapport with patients, all of that is essential.
So it's not just about the science, it's also about the human connection.
It really is. And empathy plays a huge role too,
For sure.
especially when you're working with patients who might be, struggling with their health or making these dietary changes.
Yeah.
Being able to really understand and respond to their emotional needs, offer support, motivate them on their journey.
Yeah. It's about being a compassionate caregiver
Yes.
as much as a nutrition expert. And speaking of expertise, one thing that stood out to me in the RoleCatcher guide was their emphasis on clinical auditing.
Yes.
So can you shed some light on what that is
Sure.
and why it's so important?
So clinical auditing is all about ensuring that the patients are receiving the best possible nutritional care.
Okay.
It involves screening patients for nutritional risk, assessing, how effective those dietary interventions are, and then identifying any areas for improvement.
So it's like a quality control check,
Yeah,
making sure everything's running smoothly,
exactly.
that patients are getting the support that they need.
Absolutely. And as a dietetic technician, you might be involved in collecting data tracking patient progress, maybe even implementing changes based on the findings.
Okay, that sounds like a really important role.
It is.
Contributing to that overall quality of care in a facility.
Yes.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier,
All right.
which is preventative care. How does the role of a dietetic technician fit into this growing trend that we're seeing in healthcare?
It's such a perfect fit. Preventative care is all about empowering people to take charge of their health and well-being before chronic conditions even develop.
Right.
And nutrition plays such a crucial role in this.
For sure.
So by educating patients on healthy eating habits, helping them manage their weight, providing that individualized guidance, dietetic technicians are really on the front lines of preventing chronic diseases.
Wow.
Like heart disease, diabetes, certain types of cancer.
So you're not just helping people manage existing health issues, you're helping them stay healthy for years to come.
Absolutely, 100%. And this is something you can really highlight in your interviews
Okay.
to show that you really get that bigger picture of healthcare and where this role fits in.
It shows you're not just looking for a job.
Exactly.
You're looking to make a difference.
100%.
And speaking of making a difference, I'm curious to hear your final thoughts on what makes a candidate truly stand out in this competitive field.
I think it really boils down to a genuine passion for nutrition and this desire to make a positive impact on people's lives. When you combine that passion with, a solid understanding of the strong communication skills and a commitment to continuous learning, you become an irresistible candidate.
That is such inspiring advice. It's not just about having the right qualifications.
Right.
It's about bringing that enthusiasm, that empathy and dedication to the table.
Absolutely.
And I have to say, after this deep dive, I am feeling so motivated and excited about the possibilities in this field.
Me too. It's such a rewarding career path.
Yeah.
With so much potential for growth and impact.
This has been an incredibly insightful conversation.
Good.
Thank you so much for sharing your expertise.
My pleasure.
And for helping us navigate this world of dietetic technicians.
Of course, happy to help. And don't forget about all those resources that RoleCatcher has available. Like their AI tools, which can help you tailor your resume and even, practice those interview answers and even brainstorm those quality improvement initiatives that we were just talking about.
It's like having that secret weapon in your back pocket.
It really is.
I'm so glad we did this deep dive together.
Me too.
I feel like I've learned so much about what dietetic technicians actually do and the impact that they have.
It's such a rewarding field, and I really do believe that with the right preparation and mindset, you will shine in those interviews.
For sure.
And you'll have this really fulfilling career as a dietetic technician.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
Of course.
To all our listeners out there who are getting ready to take that next step.
Yeah.
Best of luck. We're cheering you on.
Absolutely. You got this.